A study of identical twins provides conclusive evidence that homosexuality is not solely determined by genetics. In one of the largest studies to date, researchers looked at the identical twins in an Australian database of 33,000 pairs of twins. Since identical twins have identical genes, if homosexuality was caused solely by genetics, then when one identical twin is homosexual, the other twin would be expected to also be homosexual 100% of the time. Instead, what they found was where one identical twin was homosexual, the other identical twin was also homosexual only 11% of the time. Dr. Jeffrey Satinover, a medical doctor with a master's degree in clinical psychology from Harvard and a master's in the science of physics from Yale, explains why he now believes sexual orientation can change and why he has written extensively about reorientation therapy.
I had certain, you might say, conventional opinions that are now the standard opinions in the mental health professions about the nature of homosexuality and whether it was changeable or not, and so on and so forth. And I had an eye-opening experience getting to know so many people for whom that was not true. I learned about these group of individuals who were undergoing a change in their sexual identity. And then once I studied the science and saw that the whole picture was just not what the conventional public picture is, I really felt very, very highly motivated to write about it.
Dr. Stanton L. Jones is a clinical psychologist, researcher, and college professor who co-authored, along with Mark Yarhouse, one of the most significant scientific studies showing that some people with unwanted same-sex attraction can and do change.
It is widely believed that sexual orientation is utterly unchangeable. For many years, the American Psychological Association has stated that claims of change in sexual orientation were not credible because such claims of change, quote, are poorly documented. The study we have just published fills exactly that gap in the literature. I would argue, based on past research and our own study, that when professional groups issue statements saying that sexual orientation cannot be changed at all, that their conclusions are inconsistent with the evidence.
So for the last several months, I had a girlfriend and we were very close. We spoke often of marriage. There were a few things that weren't working out and she needed to figure some things out. And so we ended up breaking up. But it's a good hurt because for the first time in my life, I'm feeling this way about a girl. And I'm feeling this longing to be with her. Because normally, before now, I felt that for guys, and it's awesome.
When I started to feel these sexual attractions toward women, it just felt great. I felt like this is the way it was supposed to be.
I don't feel the urge of acting out on my same-sex attraction.
Am I interested in having a relationship with women? Yes. Am I definitely, attracted to women in a sexual way? Yes.
Dr. Nicholas Cummings is a psychologist who served as the president of the American Psychological Association. He is the co-author of the book, Destructive Trends in Mental Health, The Well-Intentioned Path to Harm. This book describes how the APA has been ignoring the science showing that sexual orientation can change.
As chief of mental health for Kaiser Permanente during the gay revolution in San Francisco, my several hundred therapists saw tens of thousands of gay and lesbian patients.
We saw not one, not two, not three, but hundreds who changed and achieved very happy heterosexual lives.
Now, I believe in civil rights. I was very active in helping gays be accepted in the APA. To this day, I am not opposed to gay marriage, but nonetheless, my position is that the person is the one who decides what they want to do with their orientation. And if somebody decides to be gay, I respect that. If somebody wants to marry a same-sex, I respect that. But I also respect the right to disagree.
What is clear is that some people can and do change, and that the research shows that the risk for harm is not any different from any other intervention.
The following quote from the medical textbook, Essential Psychopathology and Its Treatment, states, "Empirical evidence demonstrates that homosexual orientation can indeed be therapeutically changed in motivated clients, and that reorientation therapy does not produce emotional harm."
There's a great deal of literature showing that individuals who are motivated can change even without therapy. Some people have spontaneously changed their sexual orientation. In fact, even gay activists will tell you that sexuality is fluid and fluctuates within the course of a person's lifetime.
More people changed a little than changed a lot, but some people changed a lot. Many people didn't change, including ones who wanted to. Of course, there are also a great many people who I've seen in my practice over the years who would consider themselves to be gay or lesbian who had no interest in changing. And it certainly wasn't my job to convince them that they ought to want to change.
To say that you can't change your sexual orientation, again, that's just, it comes from so many people who have tried so hard and it didn't ever work. And when someone comes along and says it does, they get so incredibly offended by someone else being successful and they weren't. I can understand that. That makes sense when people are going to be upset about it. But the reality is many people have.